Welcome to Treon's Realm. Today we're going to take a look at the physical version of Hogwarts Legacy for the Nintendo Switch. Let's get the obvious out of the way first. Hogwarts Legacy was clearly built for systems like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X first, then was downgraded to run on the Nintendo Switch later. This game is very ambitious, and honestly, it's a miracle it runs as well as it does considering the tech gap between the systems. All of the usual concessions have been made in terms of texture quality, resolution, and frame rate. With that being said, the game turned out better than I personally expected. Honestly, with how many delays the Switch version had, I believed it would be outright cancelled. On the other hand, WB Games knew they would be missing out on a major cash cow, considering the Switch is currently the third best-selling game console of all time, so they really wanted it on the Switch for the holiday season. That being said, the game is clearly best experienced on newer systems since that's what it was designed for, and there are specific things that had to be fundamentally changed on Nintendo's hardware. The two biggest changes are the vast open world having to be cut into smaller sections due to hardware limits, and the load times inserted to accommodate this. On the other hand, if the Switch is your primary system, this version is a decent way to experience the game overall, all things considered. Compared to other WB releases, Hogwarts Legacy is on the better end of the spectrum in terms of performance, especially when compared to stuff like Batman Arkham Knight and Mortal Kombat 1. When it comes to the physical version of the game, it seems that WB Games has sadly continued its habit of cutting corners. The current version of the cartridge ends in 000 and features version 1.0.0 on the cart. I tested the game in airplane mode with an offline account and can confirm that the game only gives you access to the tutorial area, taking place just before you arrive at Hogwarts. This is roughly about 1 hour or less of actual gameplay, at which point the game gives you a warning that you can't proceed any further without downloading the required patch. Now the eShop version comes in at 14.3 gigabytes. The patch required for the physical version at launch initially updated the game to version 1.0.1 and came in at 7.4 gigabytes, meaning that there is 6.9 gigabytes on the cart. This means that they used an 8 gigabyte cartridge, which is deeply frustrating, as they could have just used a 16 gigabyte cartridge, eliminating the need for an oversized download. And if they'd gone that route, outside of post-release patches, the game would have been complete on cart. On a positive note, the developers have recently released a new patch for the game addressing the frame rate, graphics, and overall performance. While the launch patch for the game struggled to maintain a solid frame rate, often dipping into the low 20s and high teens, the latest patch drastically improves things, with the game maintaining a near 30 FPS for most of the areas, resulting in a much better experience overall. The sheer volume of improvements with the latest patch is pretty staggering, and I'll provide a link to them in the description below, as this makes the game a much better experience overall for the Switch. Currently, the latest patch takes the game to version 1.0.2 and comes in at 7.6 gigabytes. Now, there are additional download packs available for 7 different languages. These are all optional and clock in at 1.3 gigabytes for each one. If you were to download all of them, that would add 9.3 gigabytes to the install size. Personally, I don't have a real big issue with this particular practice when it comes to space limitations for physical releases in a specific region. While it would have been nice to have everything possible on the cartridge, I understand breaking it down as optional content. The issue comes in when the base game itself isn't actually on the cartridge or disc. Unfortunately, the game suffers the same physical fate on every system, requiring a sizable download to progress past the tutorial area. This seems to have been done on purpose, seeing as this is a single-player experience, and there were clear options to make this complete on both cartridge and disc, depending on your platform. This unfortunately means that in the future, when the digital storefronts shut down, Hogwarts Legacy will suffer the fate of many other online required games and become lost, which is unacceptable for this kind of single-player game. As a physical release, if you want to play the game, I would only recommend Hogwarts Legacy at a big sale price, seeing as you're getting a clearly incomplete product. In my opinion, too many customers have become complacent with companies ripping them off, and there should be a pushback against these kinds of practices, seeing as actions like this blatantly violate customer protection laws. What do you think of Hogwarts Legacy on Switch? Will you be picking this one up physically? What are your thoughts on the series overall? Let us know in the comments down below. If this video helped you and you'd like to see more, please subscribe and hit that like button. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later.